Okay, friends, October. October is not a pretty month, except when it is. Let's go check out the October garden. Okay, I think the best way to describe the October garden is in flux, chaos, unpredictable. This is a working person garden. Let's see here. I have cherry tomatoes harvested that we never got to. I've got squash for days. If you need squash, let me know. I have got some chickenware from a project. I've got a table of green tomatoes. I have the graveyard of perennial plants that I bought that have not had time to get put in. They will make it. I will put them in. And then I've got this various state of affairs here. We haven't gotten a hard frost yet. We've gotten a couple light ones. We've had a couple mornings where it's been a little dewy, a little freezy on the windshields, but nothing's really died from the frost yet. I'm a little worried about this tree I saved from my mom. I think I'm gonna try and get some. It needs to be outside during the winter. I don't know if you can tell it, but it's still not quite there yet. I might give it a little protection and put it up against the house for the winter. Top's doing really good. I'll have to look into this guy. I am going to pull these sweet potato vines up and see if there's actually any sweet potatoes under here. I don't know that there will be. Let's check it out. Look at that. All right, hold on. You see that guy? Sweet potato. All right, I'm going to bundle them back up because I'm not ready to take them out yet. All right, so I don't know how many, but these buckets might have some sweet potatoes in them. That might be dinner one night. I'll try and remember to take a picture. I'm going to clean all these containers out within the next week. I think I got about a week before I get a hard frost, maybe two, but that's about it. So I'm going to take any herbs I want in the house. I'm going to dig up those sweet potatoes. I started pulling my tomato vines down. You can see. I've got some basil here. I'm going to pull all those leaves before the frost. I think I'm going to take this basil, all the good leaves. It's looking a little rough. And I think I'm going to take them and I'm going to make basil salt out of them. I might even throw some oregano in and do like an Italian salt, like a seasoning salt. I'll let you know if I do. We'll see how that goes. My flowers are all doing really good still. This is Gaillardia. Isn't this pretty? Hi, pretty girl. She is technically an annual, but she will come back because see all these seeds, they get dropped. So this middle part of this bed is going to stay flowery. And then my onions are here, my green onions. These are all the peppers. I went through and cut them all off about a week ago to get my last pepper harvest. Chicken coop is looking a little sad. I can back up a little bit, but this is all that center cut squash vine. You can see I got a couple big ones that got away from me. There's one. I've got one growing right through the netting of my chicken coop. There's one on top of it. There's another one. They're a little insane. I cut a lot of that away. I've got some herbs down here. Lemon ball will come back just fine. The spearmints will come back. These are all empty, I think. Yeah. I've got a couple of these petunias. They'll die as soon as it freezes. I have really baby carrots that aren't going to do anything. So these two towers I'll probably empty out and replant with something in the spring. Maybe lettuces, or they might get eaten by birds back here with lettuce. I might put strawberries in here and cover them. We'll see. Snapdragons, as mentioned before, snapdragons are lovely and they don't mind the cool one bit. There's my pretty gazebo. Pergola. What's the difference in a pergola and a gazebo, really? If I put a chair under it, is it a gazebo? All right. Anyway, everything back here is dead or dying. I've got my compost pile right here. I've been filling in. You can see I've been filling in stuff here. I'm going to fill in back there. This is already super full, and I'm just going to let that sit all winter. I don't turn it. I'm not doing a really fast compost. I don't have room to make a rotating bin. But if you just dump it in a pile, it does still work. And what I'll do in the spring is I'll come in here and I'll pull all this up. I'll pull that board out of there and I'll dump all this huge compost pile right here, and I'll sift anything big out. I'll put the rest of it on all my beds, and then anything that's left that's big, I'll shove back in that corner and start my next pile. So this is like my spring compost pile to top my beds off. In the fall, I put cut grass and crushed up leaves on my beds, and then I dump out all my pots in my beds too. So they get a little bit in the fall and a little bit in the spring. This corner, all kinds of stuff in here. Look at them. These finally bloomed. These are called Monster Marigold or something like that. I got them in a seed swap. I don't want to focus. There you go, baby. And they're all coming on right now, so they're gonna look lovely back here. The coneflower's dying. This rosemary, I'm gonna try and propagate some of that. If you take these stems and cut them and then strip off the bottom leaves and put them in water, rosemary will grow roots for you, and then you can have a house plant for the winter. So I'm gonna do that with the rosemary. I'm gonna do it with some basil, and that's probably it. Maybe some thyme. I got some beans out here. Those are those Blue Hill Dye beans. And I think I'm gonna let them go. You can see the ones behind them, right back there. Those ones back there are brown. They're drying out. I'm gonna let these other ones go too, and then I will just have seeds for next year. So I can make sure I come out and get those. Here is some more nasturtium. There's another one of those center cut squash. Man, those things do not quit. There's a giant one I missed. Like, how do you miss something that big? I don't know. I got lots of them. I got some parsley seed back here. Can you see those? That's a parsley plant that was they're biennial, so they go to seed the second year. So this is its second year, so this is all parsley seed. I'm gonna have a lot of parsley seed back here. All in here, this was where the tomatoes were, the big slicers. They're all down. I cut them all down, and all these carrots I had interplanted. As soon as those tomatoes came down, they just took off. Now, I don't know what the solution is. They don't get enough sun over here to grow while the tomatoes are growing, but they're doing really good. Sorry, that camera was probably very, very shaky. I've got good-sized carrots in here. Now, I'm gonna have to think about this. I don't know if I'll put carrots here again or not. They're doing really well right now. I might just do that. We'll have to see. All the lettuce I put in here, that is the lone survivor. The chickens got in here and scratched it all up, so no good. Some more of those beans. I don't know if they're the Blue Hill Dyes or if they're the Triunfos. I have two kinds of purple heirloom whole beans, and I don't remember which one I planted this year. I got both of them, I think, from Baker Creek. They're an heirloom. Aren't they pretty? And then, oh wait, you have to look at this guy. Look at. Isn't she pretty? These are something that was back here that as things started to die down, she got super tall and bloomed. Here's another one. These are both zinnias. Senorita. I think Senorita is this one, this pinky one. Senorita, and I think this one is Senora. I could be wrong. All this salvia, I don't know what to do with it all. I have so much seed for it. See, this is the kind of thing where I should take all this seed and I should find a park and I should just scatter it, because it's going to come back beautifully, and then they'll have pretty bee plants in the park. I might do that. All right. Over here, these cosmos are making a second showing. They were all done. They'd already gone to seed. You can see their seeds are right here. Let me pull some. Their seeds are long and skinny. You see that? This is a seed. So after these ones are done, I'll just keep letting this go and let these all go to seed. So I have cosmos seeds, and I got a couple of calendula that bloomed for the fall. All right, let's go back this way. Here's my lettuce bed that's next to the house. I did put spinach seed in here, As you can tell, there is no spinach growing, but there are lots of holes. Thanks, Bailey, new puppy. She got in here. She chews it up. She likes to go over there and eat peppers off that pepper plant. There's a couple banana peppers on it, and she likes to munch them and dig. So she's also dug up most of my celery. I do have a little bit. I'll cut that down real short and mulch it and see if I get any more. And then I got these zinnias over here. Aren't they pretty? And then over here, I do have one dahlia that made it. Isn't she pretty? That's it. Her and my moonflower. And I'm just letting them go till they go. All right, let's go out to that way. Over here on this side of the house, on the driveway, all these zinnias are putting on their last show for October. I will let these all bloom. I'm not going to cut any of them. I'm going to leave them alone. And I'm going to let them get like this. Like here, this guy's perfect. See how crispy this guy is? This guy's super crispy. I'm going to leave them just like this. And once they get like that, I'm going to come through and cut them off. And I will save their seed. And these are all Benary Giants. I'll keep all their seed together. They're not going to be exactly true. They could have crossed other things. But they will be a zinnia. And they will be gorgeous because we all know how much I love zinnias. So I'm keeping those. I'm doing the same thing with these asters down here. Remember how pretty these asters were? Oh, they're little seed balls. And those are all going to go too. So that's our plan for that. Okay, we're going to head this way. These are the tomatoes I haven't used yet. Whew. All right. Here we've got some peas that I planted for fall, and they are flowering. I might get just a handful of peas, just enough for Ava to have a little snack. And then this is my super cool hose. Have I shown you guys this in a video yet? It's beautiful. It swings and swivels, and it's retractable. So I pull it out, and then I pull it back in, and it walks itself back in. My dear husband got me 2 of these, one for this side of the house, one for the other side. These non-starter things that didn't work. Cat dish, because I feed the stray cats, because I'm a sucker like that. Parsley growing out of the sidewalk. Oh, speaking of stray cats. Hi, are you hungry? I've named him Henry. Hang on. Guys, we're going to have to pause. I got to get Henry some food. Okay, this is Henry. He is our neighborhood tomcat. Hi, Henry. See how skinny he's getting? He's actually only, let's see, he was a kitten last fall. And in theory, he belongs to a neighbor down the block. And he has fathered a bunch of kittens. Hi. And I think that I would like to take him in and get him fixed, but I can't quite yet. But he does look skinny, so we're gonna feed him. Hi, honey. I'm assuming he keeps the mice away from my chicken coop, so I'm gonna assume that we are, if not friends, we are at least beneficial to each other. All right, Henry, you keep eating. I'm gonna keep on touring. Okay, driveway side. Okay, cherry tomatoes. These ones are doing really good. I'm gonna keep getting cherry tomatoes until it freezes. A little bit of blight in the middle, but not too much. I got lots of them on here. This is all done for the year. Ooh, look at this is pallets. My dear handy husband is going to build me another flower bed. I'll show you where when we get there. These are geraniums. Okay, these geraniums are the ones I grew from seed. And look at, I bet those are seeds inside there. All right, these are the ones I grew from seed. Now they're dangly. They're super pretty. I've heard you can overwinter them. I'm going to dig a couple of the ones that look the best up. I'm going to put them into pots, trim them back, and see if I can keep them alive for the winter. They're beautiful. That would be so amazing if I could. All right. These cherry tomatoes, while having tomatoes still, are totally dead plants. All the ones that are left are teeny tiny. Can you see how small these are? Like the tip of my finger tiny. So they're done. Now this is cool. Look at this. Swiss chard, rainbow chard, in a log. That's a hollowed out log with dirt in it. How cute is that? Brent laughed at me pretty hard for that one, and I think she's beautiful. Also, I got these cosmos here. that are all, look how pretty those are. They all started blooming this fall. I have no idea they didn't bloom all summer. And now here they come. They got these beautiful rings on them. Can you see this? Like each leaf is like a little round one. I think it's so pretty. That's about all the interesting thing that's going on here. Okay, these are all my iris rhizomes. I dug them all up, and then I got some white ones. So these are all purple. The bag is white. I just came up on the porch because look at that tomato. Isn't that awesome? I just found that last one. It's in perfect condition, so Brent gets one more tomato sandwich of the year. All right, let's go back out. Okay, front of the house, I got these really pretty pots. Look how pretty that is. The sun coming up. Oh, so pretty. Hi, Henry. Are you gonna come garden walk with us? I'm not giving you any more food. You get a bellyache. All right, here we go. Go catch a mouse for me. Back over here, got cucumbers, and I'm still getting cucumbers. I've never, ever, ever gotten a cucumber. Look at them all down there. Those funniest shaped ones I'm gonna leave, but these there's a couple quite a few that I can. Did you understand that? That I can go through and pick. Ava's gonna have cucumbers in her lunchbox another week. Okay. Over here, this is where I got all those iris rhizomes from. I dug them all up in here, and I'm gonna plant some other things here if I get to it. We'll see. Bird bath. Okay, I know I said in the September garden video that I was going to do something with this. I just don't think it's going to happen until spring, really. I will come in and move all these pots and bags that have stuff out, label them really good, give them a home in the backyard where they're kind of sheltered, and then go from there. I'll rip out all those tomato plants. That's where I just got that big one from. And look, I got quite a few decent sized ones on here still. There's quite a few back there. They get a little more shelter because they're right next to the house, and this is the sunniest side. This is my south side of my house, so maybe Brian will get another tomato sandwich. Who's to know? Amaranth. This is the crazy bush that's gotten out of control. I believe it's a forsythia bush. It predates me. Brent remembers picking it out, but he doesn't remember what it is. So, I don't know. It's going to get a haircut in the spring. Down here I've got these really pretty orange wonder snapdragons. I've got this black-eyed Susan, I think, or it might be a yellow echinacea. I'm gonna have to look into these leaves a little bit more. It was probably one of the things I bought for like $2 last year and planted and forgot about. I don't know. And then I got some calendula that I put here. And look how pretty an almost open calendula is. Isn't that pretty? Little cup waiting to open up. She's super pretty. Over in here is kind of like my perennial herb bed, and it is a little out of control, just like everything else in the October garden. I got some lemon balm trying to grow here. Sorry, dude. This is a sedum. It's all gone to seed. It'll just self-seed itself. I've got some alyssum. That's white alyssum. I've got purple somewhere else. This is all sweet woodruff, and it grows by runners. I don't know if you can really see under here, but all these little things run, and they get new roots, and they keep going. So I originally planted it right there, and now it's all the way over here. So she'll get a haircut before winter. Down in here, I've got some more succulent type plants, sedum type plants, some wild geranium. I've got some more alyssum, purple up here, down to the white down here. That all self-seeded, that white from last year. And then I got this bush line right here. She needs a haircut, but I'm not gonna really do much for it until spring. Back in the back, I got phlox back in the back around that bird waterer. I do have some irises there that are probably getting moved, and some lilies over here that are getting moved. There's my other water. Isn't that cool? Retractable hose. Ugh. My husband's the best. In here, it's kind of trampled down by this hose. Whoops, there's a bunch of oregano. I don't know if you can tell, but it's kind of gone to seed. Got some sage, some lavender. I've got some zinnias I threw in here because I throw zinnias in everywhere. This chartreuse color, isn't that pretty? Those are my black-eyed Susans and my daisies. I need a good haircut before winter. And then back here, this Boucher's rose bush. You see all that green? in case you didn't catch it in another video, this railing used to be on my Busha's front porch. If you are not Polish, Busha is grandmother. She's my grandmother. We lost her this year. She joined my grandpa up in heaven, but this railing was on her front porch, and right before she passed away, she had my husband redo her front porch and change the railings, and I made him keep this one, and at the time he rolled his eyes at me hard. But I remember sitting on her porch and drinking a Jack when I was older, or watching cars go by when I was younger, or hanging off it when I was even younger than that. And now it's up here in my garden, and that rose bush behind it is from the side of her house. And we dug it up before we put the house up for sale, and it went through some serious transplant shock. Parts of it might not make it. That middle section looks a little rough, but there's lots of green there. And I'm gonna have my Busha's rose on the side of my house growing up her railing. And I think that she'd like that. I know I do. This is a giant cluster mess of things that actually are gonna die with the cold. So I gotta make some decisions on what to do with them. Parsley, look, I got a delphinium. I have a delphinium trying to bloom in October. Anybody else got one of those? This is my favorite color too. Look at that blue. I don't think she's gonna make it. I wish you luck. More irises that are coming up. Calendula. I tried to grow feverfew here, and I did grow feverfew, but I got no flowers. But it's supposed to be a perennial, so next year I should get flowers, especially if I take all this other competing stuff out of here. Again, with the zinnias, I have a problem. I'm aware. This giant tangled mess is a hyacinth bean. It is not edible. It is decorative, and it looked really pretty. It looks terrible right now, but look, the flowers look like that. Aren't they pretty? Yep. There's a couple up there still. But now it is going to seed, which is good. I will take those off and I will use them. Will that be an actual bean inside? Let me see if I can find one for you. They're not quite ready yet. I don't think any of them really are, actually. I don't know if you can kind of tell. They got the bumps right there like a bean. Yeah. So those are going to make beans for me that are not edible. I'm only going to use them for seeding, and I am going to put this same vine away from the sidewalk and up next to my house on that ladder right there. And I'm going to let them grow tall. I might even connect them to that roof. We'll see. We're getting a new roof in the spring if we don't get it done this year. So I might have a gutter there. Oh, if I had a gutter there and I put a little hook in it, I could grow all the way up the house. Yeah, I don't think Brent's gonna like that. We'll see. Back here, okay, remember the pallets on the other side of the house? This is where they're going. Let's go up. All right, this is a little section behind these big tall bushes where I got like a little table, little bench. This is an old picnic table is what it is. And I just got these pots on it. I'm taking those out, and my husband is building me a big rectangle bed right here, which is why I would really like to get a gutter there so the rain doesn't pummel this. If not, I will make do, but then I can plant stuff in it. It'll have a better system. These pots, if you don't have a lot of room to grow, these black pots grow things. They grow vegetables. You'll get fruit on them. They grow these pretty flowers. These zinnias are all grown in them. But a big bed will work much better. There'll be more soil to pull nutrients, more soil to hold water. A bed won't lose water like these fabric bags do. It'll do better. So that's what I'm gonna do. These are all beans going to seed. See them back there? They're just going up a baker's rack up the side of the house onto the fence. I'm letting those go to dried beans. I'll use some for seed or I'll use some for chili. We'll see. This is a Tithonia. Okay, I had these last year. They did not get enough sun back here to grow. It's called the Mexican sunflower, and they can get huge. I don't know if you can kind of tell, but this one has fallen down. Those last year were all the way up the side of my house, all the way up past my kitchen window. They were 12 feet tall. They got a late start this year. Poor kids. I'm gonna try and get seed off this one or order some new seed and get them going again next year. When they weren't taking off, I did plant these zinnias here because zinnias, and they're called a peppermint stick zinnia. See, they look like a peppermint stick. They got the flecks in them. And they got really big, and I wonder if I cut these down, the other ones might have stayed, but oh, I got some over here. Well, hello, Henry. Listen, you have got to go back somewhere else. If my husband comes home and finds that I'm talking to another animal, I am going to get into trouble. Snapdragons down here are all going to seed. They make these little pods. And when they get really brown, kind of, oh, like this one over here. Sorry, that was jerky. These brown ones here, I'll save them for seed. So I'll have seed for next year. This is one of the prettiest spots in my house right now. Isn't that pretty? It's like this old fence losing its thing with these bright red salvia in front of them. And this ladder was my grandpa's. And I got little pots in there that have got little baby succulents in it. And it's just so picturesque and totally unplanned. I love it. All right, here's the rest of the fence. We're looking a little haggard. Haggard's a good word for this. This vine's got to come down. It's a tromboncino vine and it's a mess. I do have quite a bit of flowers going in here still though. I have got, these are the echinacea. They're all done for the year. But these zinnias are still going. Oh, neighbors, that's not my dog. My dog's not quite that yelpy. Got some big, huge mound of alyssum down here. This is probably the last sunflower of the year, I bet, yeah. Hey, pretty girl. I need more sunflowers in my life next year. But I do have tromboncino squash growing in here, even though the vines look terrible. And I still have red tomatoes. These are Romas. Look, here's other tromboncinos. I told you, my husband will not let me have another animal. All right, look. Doo-doo-doo. These look so pretty up against the fence. These, not so pretty. These, super pretty. Not so pretty. Oh, but look, more tromboncino squash. Another tromboncino squash. And back here, tromboncino squash. Again, if anyone needs squash, these tromboncinos function as a summer squash when this light color. If they go dark, they function as a winter squash. Henry, go away. All right, this is the garden. She doesn't look too bad for October, honestly. This is kind of like my compost pile over here. I've just been throwing plants here as I get rid of them. I'll eventually move them back into my actual compost pile, but I've got nasturtium still going. That'll go till the frost. These are beans that I tried to get to flower before we got to winter. And if you look, they got little flower buds. Can you see those? Let me see if I can find a better one. That one's not too bad. But they're never going to make it to a full bean. But beans are good for your soil. They put nitrogen back in your soil, which is different from other things. So they're going to be okay. They're not going to hurt. They're only going to help my soil. And who doesn't want better soil? So these are polar bear zinnias. Same thing here. I'm going to save these seeds. I'll come through and cut those down pretty soon. Here I'm growing beets. And I will get a crop of beets here from these guys. These are Detroit dark red beets. I got a couple rows of them. And they can take a frost. So I'll probably cut down everything around it competing. I got a pepper plant here still. I'll cut all that down, harvest it up, and give these some more sun. And then these will be able to be harvested maybe even into November. We'll have to see. Yeah, look, bell pepper. I skipped this bell pepper plant. I don't know why. There's my pretty variegated nasturtium. Mama loves you. Oh, you're so pretty. More zinnias. And then back here, I do have a cayenne pepper plant that is still making babies. I didn't pull it out just because there were so many on it. We'll see what happens. I don't know. This front row is all calendula. I'll probably go through and harvest these all before the frost. They can take a frost, but I'll probably want to harvest these and dry them out. You can use them to make body products. You can use them to make tea. You can use them to make like salves. They're antifungal. They're anti-inflammatory. So I'll probably harvest some more of those. More of my polar bears. This is my, these are all seeds. Do you see all these seeds? Let me see if I can get them. Those are all seeds for decorative onions. And do you know that I took a bunch of these and I tried to grow them and they didn't work? It was very frustrating. All right, so I'm gonna leave them there. Whoa! Hey, Cricket. He is in a food coma. Sorry, buddy. That was a lot of squash. You should have brought some friends. All right, back in here, giant weed, osteospermum? Spurnum? I don't know. But she's pretty. I like her. She's a perennial I bought when I went to the greenhouse. She was a total impulse buy. I planted her near a stump in my garden. We'll see what happens to her. In theory, she's supposed to come back next year. Back here in the back row, I have got a couple pepper plants. And I left them because they are shishito peppers. And if we had a standout this year in the garden, it was she. My husband loves these. They are super prolific. They are still producing. Even in the slightly chillier weather, they're growing. So I have left them all alone, and I got about 3 plants I'm gonna let keep going and do their thing. And we'll see what I get. Some dill, whole bunch of dead watermelon vines. These are more zinnias. These are a little a more muted color. They are a part of the Queen Lime collection, I think. I don't know which color it is, but I think they're so pretty. I might cut a couple of these and see if I can keep the color and dry them because they're just so pretty. Super pretty. All right, that is the end of the October garden tour. It is October week 2, week 1. I don't know, today's like the 8th, I think. Everyone keep their fingers crossed that I get a little bit more time before frost. And we'll see what happens first week of November.